Before we get to that, can I ask you one serious question before we get things going? Just as someone who's had to experience the other side that Glasgow can bring, this life can bring, what do you make of what happened to Brendan in midweek and his family?
Well, it's horrendous, and no matter what walk of life you come from, to have your house burgled in the middle of the night, it's a horrific experience. However, the club, and I've been in touch with Brendan and Charlotte, and we're here to help them in any aspect that we can, just to help them through what's been a difficult few days for them. But it shouldn't detract the whole picture from Brendan's time here, and I know from their own experience, the personal experience, that they've loved their time here.
In terms of the present day and yourself, how are the feelings about walking out at Celtic Park as manager again? Nerves, excitement?
Yeah, a bit of both, yeah. Obviously it's settled down a little bit now. We've had a nice week, more time with the players, obviously on the training ground, so it's just the most important facet is the players are okay and ready to go again for what's going to be another difficult game.
Would it be special to walk out as manager again? You've done it so many times, because perhaps you thought it wouldn't happen again. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I mean, it's a privilege, my privilege, and it means a lot to me, so I'm looking forward to the moment. But once the moment's passed, then full focus will be on the game.
What does a win do in this game against Aberdeen? Does that put them out of the equation?
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if they'll have one eye on Tuesday as well, but knowing Derek, he's a brilliant manager and he'll have something up his sleeve for us, I'm sure. But again, we've done a lot of work on Aberdeen and how they play against us in previous games, and what we have to do to overcome what will be a difficult hurdle. But if we win, then it's just ticking off another game and going forward.
Neil, you're back and you've had that bit of time just to get your, I suppose, have a look under the bonnet of things here at Celtic. How does the squad compare, would you say, to when you were last year?
I haven't really had never really given it much thought about making comparisons, but what these players have achieved, 7 trophies out of 7, and it's perfect. You want to maintain that. It's difficult, different times, different training regimes, so I haven't really given it much thought. We had some really good players in my time, and this group are excellent as well. So and obviously there's denominators there between both the squads, the likes of Brownie and James and Mika and a few others, so yeah, pretty similar, but the personality of the group is very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of whirlwind when you came in through the door. Obviously 2 massive matches that you had to get in. What's the past week been like? Been a bit more settled? Yeah, a bit more settled, yeah. And don't have far to travel for training either, which is a big bonus from here to Edinburgh. And I'm enjoying it, sort of like getting used to the way things are run now, and getting used to the training side of things and the organisation side of things. And I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it.
Is it a big change, or in some ways you feel like you've never been away?
Bit of both. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but there are aspects. There's so many staff here that I've known from the last time, but obviously the setup and some of the facilities here are a little bit different. But ultimately, the common goal is to get the team ready for the weekend, and we've been able to do that. I think they're looking forward to the game. They trained well this week and they're ready to go.
You're only at the moment here until the end of the season. How does that work in terms of players who are coming to the end of their contract? Look at Scott Sinclair and Mika Lustig, for example. They've got clauses that can be triggered for an extra year, but how does that work in terms of you? Do you have a say in that?
Oh yeah, meeting with Peter on Wednesday and meeting with Lee, about recruitment going forward. So it's just business as usual, club business, and I'm part of that.
On Scott Sinclair, that extended contract, you think you're going to trigger that? Are you hoping to trigger that before?
I'll let you know in due time. But again, he's having a very good season, and he's been a really important player for the club over the last, since his time here. And he's going to be important for me in the running now.
And actually also about Lee Griffiths, he sort of hinted on social media could be looking back for a return. Have you managed to have a couple of chats with him?
No, not yet, no. Just a few text messages. Obviously when I got the job he was congratulating me, and we've been sort of keeping on top of things with him. And again, the club have done all they can with him in terms of getting him the right sort of support. So hopefully we'll see him sooner rather than later.
There's no time scale on that?
No, not at the minute, no.
Have you had any good news this week in terms of players coming back to fitness?
No, it'll be as you were, really, Ronnie. Dedrick, obviously he was carrying a little bit of a niggle, but he's all right, and near Beaton had a little bit of inflammation behind the knee, but he's okay as well. In terms of for Dundee, the week after, then we're hoping maybe 1 or 2 will be ready for that.
Rogic, is he back training now?
He's not training now. He'll hopefully be on the grass next week, as McGregor will as well, hopefully.
Ralston, Benkovic, and Cham, are they still working their way back?
Working their way back, yeah, still rehabbing at the minute.
Marvin Compo trained today. Could he play a part for you between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, he could, yeah. Played the development game on Tuesday. I went to see it, and his attitude was excellent. Scott Allen played in that, and Bayo. I was really pleased with what I saw from the senior boys as well as the younger players as well. So at the minute, with the squad being stretched for injuries, it's good to have bodies, and those guys are getting a little bit of match fitness from that as well.
Have you said to him about they'll be coming back, Marvin? Because obviously he's not played a lot since he's been here. Have you spoke to him and said there's a chance I could need you before the end of the season?
Yeah, he's training with the first team squad, and obviously keeping himself taking over with match fitness from the development team. So if called upon, he'll be ready anyway, fitness wise.
To show you the depth of the squad that this has, you look at the length injury risk, but you're still managing to, as you say, the big games last week, still managing to field a team that is capable of being more sizable. I
think it's the quality, not just the depth. I think it's the quality of the player, in a number of positions, and the strength of character these players have as well. It's pleased me more than anything else, really.
Manchester United penalty during the week. Are you comfortable with what constitutes a penalty these days?
It's still a grey area for me, but when you look at it, did he make his body bigger? I think that's one aspect of the handball he did. So I think the correct decision within the laws of the game was made. And again, when we're using VAR, it's a tool for the referee to make that decision. Now it's down to the referee's interpretation of that and how he sees it. So in his eyes, it was a handball, and I could see why you'd given it.
Is that a good example of why VAR works?
Absolutely. And then there was one the same night, Roma Porto, when the guys Florenzi's pulled back the attacker, and it's a clear penalty, and VAR brought that in, and the referee missed it obviously, which is the easy thing to do from the angle he was at, but the VAR proved that it was a clear penalty. So maybe we'll get a little bit less cheating going on in the game going forward, and players will have to think twice about it now. No, there's just some, still it's not ideal, and in some countries there's different interpretations of it. If you look at the World Cup final, the handball against Perisic, a lot of people would have maintained that wasn't a deliberate handball. I didn't agree with that decision, but it's there for the referee, and he's made that call at the end of it. So it's not VAR decision, it's VAR showing the referee from different angles, and he makes that decision then. So ultimately, again, it's down to the referee.
You look forward to it coming to Scottish football?
Yeah, I think when we had the meeting there a couple of months ago, all the managers and the referees, everyone was unanimous in bringing it into the game. But it's obviously there's going to be a cost there, and then how we use it, how we interpret it into the game here. Because like I said, in different countries use it in different ways.
Sticking with the Champions League, how much of an inspiration should the Ajax result be for a club like Celtic?
Well, I mean, it's magnificent, but they have spent a bit of money. Tadic has gone in there for about £15-18 million. So, maybe the wage bill is around what we have, but they've definitely improved financially. But it's fantastic, and it should be a great inspiration for clubs like us.
Does it show the reaction by a lot of fans off the back of that is, well, from Celtic fans, is why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing that? Is it too simple just to look at it and say, well, they've spent that, it's similar, we should be able to do it? Is there more to break into it?
Well, it takes a bit of time to build teams for that level. It took me 3 years to really build a good team to compete at a good level and get through the group. So, this team, with a few more additions, I think would be capable of competing at that level again, at a good level, But, congratulations to Ajax, a wonderful performance. Wasn't over enamoured with Real Madrid's performance. Looked like there's a lot of problems there behind the scenes, but Ajax took full advantage of that.
Can I ask you one quick question about a guy who signed in your first spell here, Timo Pukki, scoring goals for fun for a Norwich side? Just what you make of his transformation. He says one of the reasons he struggled at first because he was lazy at first in his career. He's improved since then.
That's honest of him. I liked him. He was a good pro. He found it difficult, at times with the demands here. He went away. He's had a good time of it in Bromby, but he's really burst onto the scene, and again back to prominence this season with Norwich, and he's having a fabulous season. He's been one of the players of the season in the Championship. So we always knew there was a player there, but what Glasgow can be like sometimes. It's a difficult place to prosper, and he's gone away, and he's come back a better player obviously, and good luck to him.
Scotland call-ups will be coming soon.
I know.
What's your thoughts towards that? Because obviously there'll be a lot of Celtic players involved. Or will there be?
It depends how fit they are. They will go and get assessed. But some of our staff work with Alec anyway, so there's no issue there for me. And some of them might actually need a game, which would be great for both the player and the youth country.
Is Christian McGregor going to be ready?
I doubt Christie will. McGregor hopefully.